Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. And it's another beautiful day, wherever you are. You know, I was thinking about this and thinking about the idea of, you know, if you have nothing else you can control, you can always control your attitude. And you always have a great attitude. Virginia, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. And I couldn't agree with that statement anymore. Absolutely. You control your attitude.
Yeah. And so thank you so much for being on the Pirate Broadcast and becoming a pirate. I just really,
Woo-hoo!
I'm excited. We've been connected through the social media concierge group and putting out some good stuff. I have been incredibly challenged with some of my time, and so I haven't been able to spend as much time in it and as I would like to have spent. However, I just really appreciate all the things that you do and the talents you have and the things and the conversations you bring to the table. And you know, one of the things that I wanted to talk about and share with people is a little bit of your backstory. You live on the Cayman Islands, and you've dealt with online activity, some online business, and then you're in health and fitness as well. So, and then you're an attorney on top of that. So that's quite a diverse. You know, when you say it out loud, that's kind of diverse, and it's like, okay, how does that all tie together? Tell us, weave us the thread that brought that all together, Virginia.
It's a good thread and a bad thread. So the exercise thing is, see, I laugh because I got into exercise into coaching people a few years ago. And whenever I started out, I always used to think, maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I shouldn't do this. I'm not skilled enough. I went to university. I spent X number of years there training. Then I did a traineeship. And then it dawned on me that fitness has actually been a massive part of my life for most of my life. In fact, I was about 15 whenever I first went to the gym. So exercise has always been a major passion of mine. Plus, as a teenager, I suffered from depression and suicidal tendencies. So there you go, I've got it out in the open. And I discovered that being fit and healthy kept me on the straight and narrow. So it became a real big part of my life. So I've always loved to cook. I've always loved to take like traditional things that people eat and put a healthy spin on them, and just go to the gym and train. But law was what I did. I came from a working class Scottish family. Nobody had been to university before. Up pops this smart little kid, and this smart little kid gets directed to do well in school and become a lawyer. So I became a lawyer. And I can't say that I did badly. I definitely didn't do badly as a lawyer, but I made it to partner when I was relatively young. In fact, I got promoted to partner when I was pregnant. So that was kind of unheard of.
Impressive. That's pretty impressive.
But it just didn't float my boat. It didn't float my boat, no matter where I got to, no matter what I achieved, how much money I made, the position I got into. It just didn't float my boat. And after 20 odd years, I left and I sat about not quite sure what to do. I knew I wanted to do something else. I knew there was something.
You just walked away one day and just decided that I'm done with this?
I did. Okay. And it was so funny because they wanted to have a leaving party for me whenever I was going. And I had said to them, you know, I'll come back for the leaving party, because I didn't really know how I felt. I had nothing to go to. I had nothing set up. I just knew that I needed to go and explore my life. So I put this sign on the door saying, Elvis has left the room. And I just left. So I just left. I said to everyone, yeah, I'll come back for this leaving party. And I remember just walking out And I walked down the stairs and I had a fob to get back into the building again. And I stood at the elevator at the bottom. So I'd gone down the stairs and the elevator was next to the stairs, and I took the key fob, which is really naughty. So I'm sorry, Maples. It was me that I did it. And I took the key fob and I dropped it down the gap between the floor and the elevator, because it was like, this is no return, absolutely no return. Because I'd tried to leave before. I tried to leave law before, whenever I left Scotland and moved to Cayman, but I ended up back in it. But I remember shutting the door to the office and getting out to the car park and thinking to myself, I'm free. I'm free to do whatever I want to do. And the journey since then has been a major journey of self-discovery. I'd like to tell people that it's a smooth road, that you'll walk out, you'll all of a sudden start doing this thing that's your dream and your passion, but you won't. You're going to come out and it's going to be a real roller coaster of ups and downs and ugh. But anyway,
well, the road to discovery is not necessarily smooth and paved, is it? I mean,
no.
You called me out once, a little while ago, and and I loved it. And it's like I've been really reflecting on it, and it's like, and I can hear your kind of almost the parallel story. And what's your why? And it sounds like the attorney thing was something that had to be done, and it didn't fulfill your why, and there was still something left that you needed to journey through in order to get to your why. And
yeah.
And so I can see how that could come together very easily. So.
Yeah, well, a very big part of my why is my mum. So I look back at my mum, who was quite a troubled woman who ended up committing suicide when she was in her early 40s, and I had quite a troubled relationship with my mum. It wasn't an easy relationship at all. I was very much used to vent a lot of her frustrations. And I always remember whenever she died, she was 44. And I remember looking at her thinking, I will never be you. I will never be that unfulfilled, dissatisfied individual who lets society dictate to them. I'll never be that person who doesn't step outside of the box and who doesn't explore things and live my life. And I mean, none of us know how long we're here for. I believe that we've all got a shelf life, and none of us know what that shelf life is. Yeah. And for me, the worst thing would be to die without having given everything that I want to try a good shot. Whether I fail, whether I succeed, it doesn't matter. It's just trying.
It is trying, and every day is a gift. I mean, for me, every day is a gift, and I'm not sure if I shared this, but 2 years ago, my son committed suicide as well, and it's just like one of these things that you look at and you think, how could and I've been in some very dark places myself, and growing up, and for now, it's like I wake up excited and with gratitude. And I hate to go to bed because it's like, have I done enough? Have I put in enough today? Am I doing, am I pushing forward? Because I have some, ambitions and goals, and I have a place to go, and I have people that love me and people that care. And I know that it's really, as you're going down this path, sometimes the ending or where you're going isn't crystal clear. However, as long as you have something that you enjoy and you can focus your time on it, I think that's a productive way of living. I think it's, finding joy in your day is useful always.
Yeah, I think that's massive. I mean, and I think you hit the nail on the head there, is that with any of this stuff, don't have a picture of what it's going to look like in your mind. So, and I think a lot of people, whenever they're going, like for me, for example, when you're going out there and you're deciding to embark on a life of entrepreneurship, if you go out there saying to yourself, it's $1 million, then you could be seriously disappointed. And you might also find out along the way that it's not the money that's driving you too. But if you've set yourself this goal of X amount of money and you're not getting there, you become frustrated.
Yeah.
So always have that there as a bigger picture. So always have your big picture, your big goal. But at the same time, break it down into all the small things that you want to achieve and focus on all of the small things. Because the more of the small things that you tick off, the bigger the sense of accomplishment. And I think the closer you get to where you ultimately want to be.
Well, I think too, it's much like you're exercising. You know, you have to put in the daily practice. You have to put in the daily motion in order. It's the tiny habits and the
Yep.
action that you take every day that allows you to get to your big idea. You know, and even if you don't get to the big idea, it becomes a hell of a journey regardless, right? And it's like, at least you know you've put in the time and effort and energy to say, I did a thing. I did this. And so you'll walk us through one of the transitions that you had after you left and you dropped the key fob down the elevator shaft.
And how I felt.
Yeah, well, I mean, I failed more than I want to. Yeah, I haven't failed because all my lessons have accumulated to who I am today, and I like who I am today. So it's some of them were very challenging. I've been homeless. I've been, in bad situations. I've been, in places where I wouldn't normally want to be. And, it takes a lot of reflection and self-awareness in order to decide, okay, because every day we have a choice. We wake up and have
Yeah.
a choice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, unless you're unless you play the victim card, ultimately, if you take responsibility for yourself, that's what you can, you know, you can't blame anyone. That's the downside of taking responsibilities. You have no one else to blame but yourself.
Oh no, you've got to, it's complete 100% ownership. You have to take ownership because there isn't anybody else to blame for the situation that you're in. So yeah, I'll tell you where it went, and you can see how much of an imperfect story it is, and how I'm still very much on a journey of working out whether I'm
Yeah,
going in the right direction. But I'm quite content if that is, I mean, I'm still quite content.
yeah.
So it's been an interesting journey. So whenever I left, and I tried to work out what I wanted to do, I was completely lost because I'd
Mhm.
lost this sense of checking in every day, of having all of these clients coming to me. I had a massive practice as a lawyer, and I'd given it all away. So getting used to not checking in with my BlackBerry every day was very, very interesting. Um, I had no idea what I was going to do. I was having conversations with people about setting up a snack box delivery company. And I
Uh-huh.
think it would have been a really, really good idea. But what ended up happening is that I ended up thinking I couldn't do it by myself. So I
Mm.
started having conversations with other people. And before I knew it, we were like 12 months down the line, and we were having all these conversations and legal documents, and I just got really, really bored with it. It
Yeah.
was getting to a situation where I was getting so depressed by it all that I would come drop the kids off at school and I would lie on the couch and snooze, and I felt really bad about it because I just wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
So I'd say I had a good 18 to 2 years of doing absolutely nothing, and not knowing where I was going.
Do you think
Um,
that was a way of just taking a mental break, a kind of a shift in your transition? I mean, everybody kind of has, especially if you lose your job. I've been ejected from a couple of corporate towers. It's like, woo, off the, companies that don't. I tell people I've spent 25 years in companies that no longer exist. So it's and you think you've invested that time, and there's like this. It's almost a mourning. It's grieving about the facts. It's a vacuum that you're living in at that point in time. So
I was without a doubt in a vacuum. I had absolutely no direction. I had spent what 20 odd years being directed, going into
Yeah.
an office, turning up and doing something. And yeah, it was tough. And then we had a bit of a catastrophe at home. We lost quite a lot of money whenever a bank went down the tubes.
Uh-huh.
So we were kind of in a bit of a dire situation. So I had to work and bring income in, and I had to work and bring income in very, very quickly. So I turned to the one thing that I was good at. And it took me a while of thinking, right, how can I make money and how can I make money quickly? Mm, well, you're very fit, Virginia, and I spent time in the Territorial Army, the British Territorial Army, where I was part of the training team. So I
Mhm.
was used to training people, and I'm pretty good at getting results and getting people what they want to do. So that was what I did.
Yeah.
I started doing fitness classes, and then I started sharing healthy recipes, and then it got really good and I got really successful, and then I decided to sabotage it all. So as you do, I decided to sabotage it all, um, and I ended up opening up a gym, and I went in again with other people, so I was doing perfectly well by myself.
Yeah.
And then thinking, gosh, maybe I need somebody else. So I went in with other people, and it was, I had to shut the gym down. I closed the gym down because it ended up becoming too much. And then I did the same. Then I went back into that same little hole of what am I going to do now? Where am I going to go next?
You went to your
Um,
cocoon.
I did.
Yeah.
And then I joined London Real because I needed to learn how to work technology. So I
Yeah.
ended up, I went to London Real, I joined one of their courses, decided not to follow the curriculum. Now, I said not follow the curriculum, and I ended up being one of the
You
most
troublemaker,
successful
you.
students. I know, so bad. I became one of the most successful students that Brian had on the Business Accelerator course. So I worked with him for a while as one of his lead instructors, so one of the senior instructors on his courses. That was all going really well. And then I realized, I'm living somebody else's dream here and not my
Yeah.
own dream. So I left that. I set up a business academy with a friend of mine, and that went really well too, until I realized that I didn't really want to be there either. That wasn't where I wanted to be. So we still continued to coach students that we had, but made the decision not to take any more of the students on. And I'm right back to fitness again. I'm still coaching fitness. And
The thread continues.
it's the one thing that really floats my boat.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Russ, I think I had a bit of an issue about it because I thought I was too good to be a fitness instructor, because I go on about it, 2 degrees and a postgraduate diploma and a partner in a law
Yeah.
firm. So I
You
think I
worked
thought I
too
was
hard
too
not
good.
to be a fitness instructor, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's the one thing that I keep coming back to.
And it brings
Um,
you joy.
but I love it. I
Yeah.
actually love it.
You love it, you're good at it. There's a Japanese saying, ikigai.
Yes, yes.
So, it's your ikigai, and it's something that you are really into and available to you, and people will pay you for it and people want it. So,
Yeah. Well, it's a lot more than fitness, because what
yeah.
I actually do is I help professional women, so middle-aged professional women
Uh-huh.
who are just a bit stuck. Who I've found that women tend to be full of energy and full of ambitions whenever they're younger, and then they go into a job, and it's difficult for corporate women. It's difficult in the corporate environment.
Absolutely.
I know whenever I was a partner, I was one of very few women in a hugely male dominated firm, and it was a big firm too. And
Mhm.
at the time, I was the youngest. I had 2 children. The couple of other partners that we had were older women who weren't married. There was one other one who was roughly my age, but had no children. And it was difficult. I mean, and I worked in construction and projects and finance. So it was always work, work, work. So my life
Yeah.
became the children and being in the office. And I kind of lost a little bit of a sense of me and my own purpose and my own why and my own visions.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I do. I combine the fitness, because what I've found is that if you can take people and you can give them back a sense of physical strength, then with that physical strength and that sense of well-being, you can then begin to impact their mental health as well. And I don't mean that from a psychological sense. I mean, you can take these women who've perhaps just closed themselves off to their dreams and their wishes and everything else,
Yeah.
and been so focused on family and job that they forget themselves.
Yeah.
And that's what I do. It's like reinvigorating so many of these professional women. So where are you? Are you stuck in a job, in a great job, but you're maybe not being paid the amount of money that you want to be paid because you've
Yeah.
lost your confidence, or you're not as high up the ladder as you want to be because you've lost your confidence again. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. So it's a lot more than just the fitness, but the fitness is such a crucial part of it because it's always been such a crucial part of my own life.
And it's part of, I think mental durability is a good way of describing it, because if you're healthy and you're happy and you're focused and you realize some of the things that you may not have, that fitness gives you the confidence to really move forward. It's like, okay, I have the stamina to do that thing that I need to do in order to move it forward. So
Yeah.
I love that, fascinating, and I just really enjoy that story because it just excites me because it's available to anyone that's willing to go the extra mile. It's the willingness to actually take responsibility for your actions and do
Mm.
something. And it's not easy, and it's often very challenging on a regular basis to do something that is beyond what you feel is your capability. And with a coach or someone that's at least a guide to push you in a direction and saying you can do this. Here's how you're going to do this. Here's the
Yeah.
roadmap. Here's what you're going to do. So now, are you looking at the opportunity to now in this pandemic situation, turning your passion in coaching to an online space where you can coach anyone anywhere and expand this because of the limitations of uh, you know 6 feet
Well, I've
social
already
distance?
been doing that. I've already been doing that. After I closed the gym down, I made the decision that I was going to carry on doing it on an online basis. So I have already been doing that, and it's working fine. It's interesting because I record my own workouts and I share my own workouts. So we all have a lot of challenges. I'm a 50-year-old woman, and a 50-year-old woman going out into the fitness space when you're up against all these like 20, 25-year-old girls. And
Yeah,
and then you're thinking, do I do this? Do I put this out there? Do I start to sell this? And then I think to myself, well, why not? Because at 25, I could have kicked most of your butts. Are
yeah.
you going to be able to kick my butt at 50? Because I know when I
Well, I
turn up,
think the wisdom that you bring along with that is paramount in what you're promoting, because you're building confidence in individuals as much as anything,
yeah.
right? And you're just doing it through a vehicle of exercise and fitness and health. And I think that's a healthy way of building confidence, is a great way. And I just applaud you for it.
Oh, thank you.
And I watch you and I just think, I need to go ride my bike some more. You inspire me. I just like it. And I just want
Thank
to give a
you.
shout out to a couple of people here. Angie's here in the room. She's saying, good morning, everyone. Pirates, Gabriel, Gabriel's an avid supporter. He's doing some online stuff. He's actually doing a show every night at 7 p.m. Central Time. So he's always on here. And he just said, wow, what a wonderful story. I love this.
Thank you. Thank you, Gabriel.
So,
appreciate that.
And then Randy over from Toronto. Hey, morning, Randy. I hope you're well. I'll catch up with you later today. And Virginia, I know that, this is really a powerful message to a lot of people that have an opportunity to listen in and hear this. And, I'll be sharing this out over and over again. However, I think there's some things that are really important for people to understand is a couple of threads is you do have an opportunity to change what you're doing. Even though you feel like you're stuck, you're not, like Jim Rohn used to say, you're not a tree. You can move.
You can move.
Yeah, you can go do something else. So it's really important for people to understand and appreciate that there are things and circumstances that we can actually think about. And are there any epiphanies that you've had that, was it a gradual thing that you said, you decided, hey, fitness is my jam. It's what I do. It's what I love. It's what I can teach. It's what people need, because it is what people need. And I think that, other people are doing the same thing with what they love to do. I love to help people broadcast. I love to build systems that allow this to take place. And it's not for everyone. However, for the person that needs the help and doesn't want to deal with the technology, it might be an important part of their program.
Yep.
And so it's you just have to find something that brings you joy, the whole package. It's like, okay, just enjoy their life. It's like we all have an expiration date. We don't know what it is. We don't know what our shelf life is. It's just take what you can and enjoy what you have and do what you can with what you have. So I think it's
I agree with that. Definitely
Yeah.
agree with that. Nothing. All I can say is that a healthy body really is a healthy mind, and it comes in so many different ways. So don't look at yourself in the mirror and lie to yourself and say you like the way that you look and you're going to be accepting of the way that you look if it's not true. Because if you're lying to yourself from a mental perspective, you're lying to yourself in every single way. How can you expect to be happy if you're not happy within yourself, if you're lying to yourself? So I always say start some kind of movement. Just move. You'll be astounded at how a healthy body can have a massive impact on your mind. And I say this to women in particular, and this is quite controversial. Especially in this society today where we're taught to accept ourselves as we are. There's a big difference between accepting yourself as you are and being happy with who you are. And a lot of women are lying to themselves, and they're pretending that they're happy with what they look like, and they're happy with their situation because it's all right. Society says it's okay for me to look this way. Who cares what society says? How do you feel inside? At the end of the day, we all control our own sense of reality. You're exactly where you want to be. You create that reality.
Yeah.
So, and I think the other thing I want to say is, if you can be confident within yourself that no matter what happens, you can deal with it. And that's what I always say is the stronger you are mentally and physically, the more you'll be able to deal with anything that comes your way. And that gives you the courage then to leap and do whatever, because you know that you can deal with it, irrespective of how awful it is. And I've had some pretty awful things happen in my life.
Yeah. Being resilient and being able to adjust and adapt. And having the mental stamina to get through it and enjoy parts of it even.
Well, I read David Goggins' book. And I thought to myself, you you've got nothing on me. You lived that life. I'm happy to take my life and compare it with yours. So you do. I mean, and I honestly think that's the case with so many people. Is like, look, you read these books and you think, wow, what have you done yourself, and what have you been through yourself, and you're still here and you're still standing.
Yeah. Well, I thank you so much, Virginia, for being here.
Thank you for having
I
me.
applaud you for what you're doing and continue doing it. And I look forward to long conversations in the future about it. So I'm just always impressed with the stories people share on the Pirate Broadcast. And I look forward to future stories. I think we got a couple more wonderful people this week on the Pirate Broadcast. So stay tuned, because kindness is cool. Smiles are free. And you enjoy the day.
Thank you. Thanks
Thank
for having
you for
me.
being here. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.